Hi everybody, it's Tanya and this is my channel Tea Talks 93. So I wanted to review Sister Wives season 2 episode 10 and 11, and that will round us out for that season. The first episode, episode 10, was called Gambling on the Future. So this is when Cody tells the kids that he has to move, so he sets them all down in the living room, and of course most of the kids are very upset and crying. So they're talking about leaving Lehigh because of the investigation, and this is why he needs to get out of town. He's afraid to be arrested. So he only gave the kids a 3-day notice, so it was not only like a shock to them, but then they also didn't have time to kind of acclimate to the idea of moving, and he's just like, okay, we're moving in a couple of days. So I can understand how kids would be very upset, and they're losing everything they know, because a lot of them had been there as long as they could remember. That was their home. The kids were not allowed to tell anybody because they didn't want the police finding out through other sources, through people that they knew. So they just told the kids to keep it quiet. And then Leon was very concerned about going back into a public school, because Leon had been in the private school that was under the religion, the AUB, that they had put together for their kids. And they were worried about going into this other public system where it would be harder for them to follow their religious faith and, to be different. Cody tells all of them, and it's very like a dictator. He's like, we're all going. We're one go, all go, right? So, and then I was wondering, like when I was watching this, whether Mary and Leon could have stayed behind in Lehigh. But also, like, it seemed like Christine also didn't seem to want to go either, because the other kids were having a hard time, and Leon was just wanting to like finish out that semester at least in this school, instead of in the middle of a school year or school term going to a new school. So it would have made sense for like one of the wives to stay behind at least until the end of the school semester, and then they could have joined everybody else in Las Vegas. So Cody, of course, poo-pooed that. No, we can't do it that way. That makes too much sense. So let's do it my way. It's always my way. And he kind of made Christine look bad or feel bad about her thoughts. Just thinking like, what if we did it this way? And he's like, no, we're doing it my way. So it's very like a dictator. He didn't like let them feel that their opinions were justified. And it shows Robin and her kids packing at her house, and Robin talks about how she was fearful and very angry, and that she was praying and trying to have God guide her in this move. And she said it felt like jumping without a parachute, because they were supposed to be moving to Las Vegas, but they hadn't even found homes to land in or to be at once they're moved. So they're like, where are we supposed to go once we get in the van or the vans and the vehicles and pack everything up, and then we're just going and just hoping and believing that there's going to be a place for us once we get there. And then Robin mentioned that this would have been her 4th move in 2 years. So it doesn't seem like a very stable living with her kids. And especially, like I had mentioned before, her oldest, Dayton, is autistic. So when you have an autistic kid, it's very important to have consistency. And when you're messing with a kid like this, with his like schedule, with the consistency in his life, with the stability, they can be very upset, and they can be very much harder to to relate to, and it's hard to get their emotions under control when they're messed up like that. So I do have an autistic daughter, so I can understand, like, the littlest things. She's very like, everything has to be in order, everything has to work the same. If I'm not doing the same thing I do every day, then she'll be like, where are you, what are you doing? So it seems like Dayton is a little easier to work with than that, but still I can see where it would be very upsetting for him to be bouncing around like that. The older kids are on the couch and they're talking about polygamy. I guess they're being asked questions about polygamy, and they say, well, it's better than having mistresses, because the wives are being taken care of, where a mistress would be just basically used, and the man is not taking care of these women. But as long as they say that they are married, then they have more of a commitment and to their kids and to those that they call wives that are not legally married to them. They start getting upset because they see the sheriff's cars driving by. The kids are coming to terms with moving because they see this, so they're getting more scared and they don't want their dad to be arrested. So they're coming around to moving. And then they have Dayton's birthday. And Dayton, it was kind of cute because he was like, had a jar or something, and he was collecting money for his birthday. So he's like, it's my birthday. And you can see Cody giving him, I don't know how much cash it was, but some cash. I thought that was cute and funny. Janelle talks about the relationship struggling with the stress of moving. So she also, has a good job where they are in the Salt Lake area, which they live in Lehigh, which is not too far from Salt Lake. But she, makes a lot of money, and is probably related to, like, I have a solid job right now. I have a way to pay the bills. We don't have to worry about it so much, and we can handle this, as opposed to, like, now I have to quit my job, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one at all or soon as we get to Las Vegas. So I could see how she would be so stressed out, and I'm sure she'd probably be like, do I really have to move right now? Can I come later? Can we make sure that I have a job before I go, so that once we get there, we have a way to pay the bills? So, and like Cody says, where one goes, we all go. So, of course, that was a bad idea because it wasn't his. And then they talk about they're supposed to leave on a Monday, and everybody was getting ready to leave on Monday, and then they have a sudden change because the house that they were going to move into wouldn't be ready until Tuesday. But Janelle and Mary are like, okay, we still want to go on Tuesday. Or they wanted to go on Tuesday, and then Christine was okay with either day, and then Robin didn't want to go until Tuesday, and so Cody agreed with her. And so then they didn't go until Tuesday, but everybody's supposed to be all ready to go by Monday. Mary Oh, okay, sorry. So Janelle and Mary wanted to go on Monday. I believe that's what happened. And then Robin didn't want to go till Tuesday. And so then Mary's like, why did you guys decide to wait until Tuesday? Is it because Robin wanted to? So you can already see, like, there's some friction, and, like, is she taking my place? Like, Mary at the time was the first wife and the legal married wife. So she probably felt like she had a little bit more say than everybody else. But then she's starting to see, it looks like to me, that she's seeing that there's a little bit more favoritism to Robin. And this is season 2 already. So that's many seasons ago. And she can see that Robin is kind of a little bit more favored at that time. And of course, Cody dictates we are leaving Tuesday. Nobody else's thoughts or preferences are taken into account. Leon ends up expressing that they are now in agreement and they're okay, and they just want to be where their family are, so they can't stay by themselves. They know that they're just a kid, so they figure out that, yeah, I have to do whatever my parents make me do. And then it shows like them rushing to get packed. The press found out about the move, and so they had cameras rolling on them, and so they're like really in a panic trying to get everything packed up into the truckloads and get out of Lehigh. They ended up having to leave some things behind because they couldn't take everything with the rentals that they had. because they didn't want to, rent huge moving trucks and stuff, because that would have like really showed the police, hey, look here, we're leaving for sure. And so they were just trying to pack in smaller vehicles and things like that, so they had to leave quite a bit of things behind. There is that, that pretty infamous shot where sirens are going by and Mary turns around, oh my gosh, is the police coming to get us? So it does show that. And then Cody calls for a prayer, and they do a big prayer together. And then they talk about people having to change their ways of seeing polygamists, so that people in the area have changed their ways as how they see polygamists, but the laws haven't changed, so they feel like that's the problem. And I was kind of thinking, like, this morning when I was thinking about this, I was wondering, like, if Cody did challenge them. Cody did challenge the state of Utah, like push them to like either accept us or don't, and not, like accept some of us, not all of us. And was he trying to pave the way for the whole, and that's what I think it is geared toward, the show is like trying to pave the way for all the polygamists to be accepted and for it not to be illegal. And then, eventually, as we find out later, they do get the charges dropped from felony to misdemeanor for polygamy. So, so it kind of seems like it was kind of planned to me. Let me know your thoughts about that, though. They leave in multi-vehicles, and of course they have like several problems with all the vehicles, like flat tires and stuff like that. They end up going like, I think it was like for 4 hours. They didn't even get like 45 minutes down the road technically, and they ended up having to stay in the hotel, but they ended up keeping on going the next day and got to Las Vegas. And then Cody kept saying that, he's like, this is a sign to not go, having all these flats, but he continues because he believes that he will be in trouble if he doesn't get out of the state. So they do get settled in Las Vegas, and then Cody talks about God always having his back, that kind of thing. And that's where that episode ends. That is episode 10. And then it goes into episode 11, Sister Wives in City of Sin. Cody talks about being peaceful, less stressed out, no policemen threatening to haul him away, basically. Robin talks about she lost 15 pounds because she was so stressed out and had no appetite. And then once she was less stressed out in Las Vegas, and she was able to like eat like normal again and feel a little better. The young kids and the parents are happy to be in Las Vegas. They're at a vacation home, looks really pretty and nice, and I think they had a hot tub and all kinds of stuff. But the teenagers, of course, were still upset because they had their own lives that they were preparing for, right? So I'm sure that they thought they would go to college with their friends and do life with their friends that they had met in Lehigh, but now they're uprooted and they're in this whole new place, and they had to go. In this episode, Cody's 43rd birthday happens. Cody and Robin talk about having more kids. The kids get settled into school and in a routine. Maddie is very upset because she still doesn't like the school. It's bigger. She doesn't have her friends, and she's just wanting to go back home. And she doesn't like to be in Las Vegas. They do get into rental home. They discuss money and no jobs yet. So that's a big stressor still. Maddie and Leon drive. Oh, they get really bored because they don't have any friends yet, and they don't have anybody's homes to go to. And they were still, I think they were in that vacation home still. So Maddie and Leon go outside, and they're driving the car in donuts and stuff because they have their Utah driving permits, but it's not they're not valid in Las Vegas, so they could only do in the driveway driving. Janelle talks about feeling bad about getting attached to a house and a pool. So as they're looking for new rentals, Janelle, she's more of a laid back, like whatever I get, I just have to meet the needs of my kids. Don't need anything fancy. And they find this really nice house that has a pool in the back, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is really nice, I really like this, and it has a pool and all the things. And she's like, I feel bad because I like it and I want it for me and my kids. And it seems like she's more apt to sacrifice than some of the other moms. So tell her, it's okay, this is the one time that you're getting something fancy for you and the kids, and take it. So she ended up doing that. So I thought that was good. But it seems like she worries about being selfish, and she's probably the least selfish of all the wives, I think. The parents discuss inappropriate tops on McKelty. So she's wearing a top that kind of they feel like it's too low, and the kids, teenagers mainly, think that the opinions are outdated. And it sends, Robin says how it sends wrong messages to boys. But, today we don't really think as much like that. Like, some tops, and what was it? There was a show that we were watching. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember like these girls were sitting in the same tank top. And because one was more, we'll say, curvy than the other girl, that fit different, and there was more noticed about the one that was more curvy than the one that wasn't. So they were trying to send the girl with more curves to the principal's office, but the one sitting there that had the same exact top on didn't have to go because it covered more. So they're like, how fair is that? It's not my fault that my body is different than your body, but we are in the same exact top, so we shouldn't be having two different messages sent to us. So that's what made me think about whenever I watched that part. Robin and Mary go back to Lehigh to retrieve all the items that were left behind, all their belongings. Robin and Mary talk about their closeness, and then Mary talks about that she does get jealous watching Cody and Robin together, and it caused a little rift in Robin and Mary's relationship for a time period, until she kind of gained more acceptance into the fact that Cody has a new wife and they're very close, and maybe their relationship is a little bit more what Mary would rather have than what she actually has. So they start looking for Mary at home. They talk about paying for a large home for just her and Leon. Which, when I watched it too, I was like, why do you need a big home? It's just the two of you. Why would you want to spend all the extra money just to have something bigger? But then, she was like, well, it's not fair just because I don't have as many kids. But if you don't have as many kids, you don't have as many needs, really. But I can see both points of view on that. Like, you don't want to treat one wife better because she has more kids than the other wife who wanted more kids but couldn't have them. So I can see that viewpoint, but I can also see like Janelle's like worried about, we still don't all have jobs, we still don't have a way to pay for all these homes, and if we could find one that costs a little bit less, then that takes a little bit more burden off. So I can see both viewpoints on that. They throw their neighborhood throws a block party, and they get to go meet all the neighbors, and some of them are more accepting of them, and some of them are like, I don't understand this because it should be one man, one woman. Somebody makes a comment about that, and Cody makes a joke about polygamy, which was really stupid, and I didn't even write it down because I was like, he's a goofball. But and then the one that was talking about it should be only one man and one woman, he questions whether you can love multiple women versus if it's just lust. And my personal opinion on that part is like, I don't even think it's lust. I think it's more like, Cody later, he says that it was basically a job. Like his religion dictates, and usually in these religions, you need to have at least 3 wives to get into the celestial kingdom. So there's 3 tiers of heaven according to most of the Mormon, even the Mormon beliefs. the mainstream, but also the fundamentalist Mormon. They all have that same faith that you have to do so many things in order to get to the celestial kingdom or the top tier of heaven. And one that the polygamous believers, so the AUB, the FLDS, and the DCC and Salt Lake City, they all believe that you have to have 3 wives in order to get to the celestial kingdom. So Cody already had 3, now he's got 4. I think it's more about that. I think it's more like checking the box to get to heaven, to do the thing that you're supposed to do according to the rules of your religion. That's what I think it's more about. And I think in my own mind, Cody probably chose the women that he could best live with that could get him there. And it may not have been like romantic love, but he had to choose people that he could at least love enough to have families with and to stay with for the rest of his life, which now we know that's not the case. But I can see, like, from that viewpoint, if you believe in that religion and these are the things, the check boxes I have to do in order to get to the highest realm of heaven, then that's that he did the best he could to meet those criteria. Not to say it's right, not to say that I believe it, because I absolutely don't. And also, I don't think it's fair to the women to have to share a man and not have that close bond. Like, you can tell, like, I don't even know if Robin and Cody's relationship is going to work the way that I see it, because Cody still dictates and Robin still follows whatever Cody says to do, because she doesn't want to have to get a divorce and live on her own and do all those things again. So that's kind of what I'm seeing personally. That's my opinion, not a fact, of course. But they portray it as like we have this close relationship, this bond, like a soulmate kind of situation. And I personally don't see that. I think it's a dependent on Cody for financial security, financial and stability and that kind of thing. And I kind of wonder in the next few years if we're going to see Cody either find another wife, or Robin, after all the kids are grown, if she's going to be like, I can't do this anymore. So time will tell. So the family discuss pros and cons of having one house, the one big house versus 4 separate homes. So some of the feelings were like, if Cody has one house, then he's like seeing the wives every day for little bits of a time. But if he have 4 houses where he can go to that one house for that one day night and have that more close connection, just that one-on-one time, then their relationship might be closer versus, spreading or, having to see all 4 of them in one day and having to make it work and then choose which part of the house you're going to go to that night. So there's pros and cons to both. Robin and Cody, they share with us that their pregnancy tests, they took a pregnancy test that was positive, and then that's where it ended. And I guess in season 3, stuff hits the fan, as some of us remember, when Robin lets the kids know that she is going to have another baby, and she tells Mary about this as well. So those are my thoughts and opinions on Sister Wives so far. I don't think that all of them needed to move right away. I think it would have been better if a couple of the wives maybe stayed back in Lehigh, let the kids finish out their semester. I don't think that the police would have arrested the women or taken the children away that were left behind. I don't know how you could legally do that. I guess that would be more of a question for the police department there, but if Cody's not there, I think Cody could have gotten arrested because he is the one that's actually practicing polygamy, it's really not the women that's practicing polygamy, because they're only married to one person, but the man is the one that is committing the felony in my mind. But let me know what you think. I'll try to do the next set on season 3 next week. So you guys have a good week, and I'll see you later.